Mr. Grothman.
Thank you. Dr. Mayne, are you familiar with the FDA's internal agency review led by Dr. Solomon?
Yes, I am.
Were you interviewed by Dr. Solomon during the course of the review?
No, I was interviewed by the same group of folks who were interviewing all the people who participated in the interviews. That information was consolidated and put together for Dr. Solomon.
Why don't you think you were interviewed?
I'm sorry?
Why don't you think he interviewed you?
He didn't interview any of the individuals. I think there were a large number of people who were interviewed. It was consistently done across all the interviewees.
Okay. Apart from Dr. Solomon, did anyone else in the FDA or HHS author the report?
Did anyone
Apart from Dr. Solomon, did anyone else at FDA or HHS author the report?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. What was Principal Deputy Commissioner Janet Woodcock's role in the report?
I believe she was one of the individuals who called for the report so that we would look internally at our processes and see what changes could be made expeditiously in the spirit of continuous improvement.
Okay. Was she involved in the report?
Other than asking that the report be executed, not to my knowledge.
Okay. We've received witness testimony before this subcommittee that implies that she was involved in it. I'll give you another chance to answer. Did Dr. Woodcock influence the Solomon report in any way?
She asked that the report be conducted. People were interviewed. The data was compiled, produced into a report. She asked that the report be conducted along with Commissioner Califf.
Okay. The U.S. Comptroller General Gene Dodaro stated in an April 26, 2023 House Oversight hearing that the FDA is not, quote, not doing enough to improve food security and food safety. Food safety has been on the GAO's high-risk list since 2007. Dr. Mayne, do you think the FDA is doing enough to ensure food safety?
We can always do more to ensure food safety, and I'm going to come here today with solutions on things we can do to ensure better food safety in infant formula manufacturing. Having said that, we work very closely with the U.S. Department of Agriculture as we assure the food safety for the U.S.
Okay. Did the Reagan-Udall Foundation for the FDA conduct an operational evaluation of FDA's human foods program?
The Reagan-Udall Foundation did not conduct the evaluation, but they convened a group of independent experts that conducted that evaluation. So it was not done by the foundation, but by independent experts.
Okay. And did this report describes FDA's food division in a culture of constant, it describes their food division in a culture of constant turmoil. Do you agree with the Reagan-Udall Foundation's assessment?
My indication of their assessment was that the reporting and decision-making needed to be streamlined, which is something I agree with, that organizational changes could make a more efficient and effective program, which I also agree with. So those were the primary recommendations coming out of the Reagan-Udall Foundation.
Okay. COVID-19 was used as an excuse for FDA not receiving a whistleblower complaint about the Abbott plan. Commissioner Califf testified before Congress that the whistleblower report was not transmitted to key FDA food safety officials like yourself because of a COVID-19 mailroom issue. Do you believe the report was actually lost in the mail?
I can't speak as to what happened to the report itself being lost in the mail, but what I can speak to is the report was received at FDA. It was received by our field inspection of force, and they worked on the report. They acknowledged that they received the report. They then went ahead and reviewed the report. There were some very serious allegations in the report, so they sought information from the Office of Criminal Investigations, and so they did act upon it. It is correct that senior leadership was not made aware of that, so it was not that FDA didn't act upon it, but that simply senior leadership was not aware of that.
So everybody acted on it, but they didn't tell the leadership?
That is correct. It was not escalated. There was no process within FDA to escalate this particular whistleblower complaint. FDA receives a large number of whistleblower complaints, so it was a failure of escalation. I do wish I had been made aware of this particular whistleblower complaint, but just to reiterate, the complaint was acted upon, but the leadership was not aware of that.
Did it surprise you?
Which, the complaint itself, or?
Yeah.
The complaint was very lengthy and very deep. It had a lot of egregious claims in there, statements in there, allegations in there. There were very troubling things in there. What surprised me was language about data falsification and trying to hide information from federal regulators. Given the nature of some of those allegations, that is why the inspectorate engaged the Office of Criminal Investigations and with regard to that whistleblower complaint.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grothman. Chair now recognizes Ranking Member Porter.
In our first infant formula